I'm Narayan. I teach high school level students from 1996, and I'm also a university teacher. I teach sociology in Tribune University students for master's level students. I teach them research methods. Recently, I got my permanency in university career, so I resigned from school teaching, head teacher's post. It was the public school. I have applied for my PhD degree and my application has been accepted, but I have to wait for a few months, maybe 1 year, because it is very difficult here to get supervisors to supervise my thesis work. I teach students in classrooms and I teach them about the research methods. How is research done in social science, especially in sociology? So I teach them, and I have some projects on education system in Nepal, especially public education system in Nepal. First, public education was began 1854 in Nepal. So how does it go on developing is my concern. So the history of private school in Nepal, if you talk about, it is not, it is less than 50 years. So we have differences in public and private schools. Okay, this is the important question, and definitely it's necessary in the country because private school has has contributed a lot in the development of our country. Many pupils who completed degrees from private schools have gone abroad and all around the world they studied there. Some of them came back and contributed to the country. So it, it, it gives quality, it enhances quality. That's why it is necessary, I think. Scores are not the difference. System is the same, but if you compare between the students, those score in private schools and public schools, you find differences. Private school students usually have more marks than public school students. There are so many reasons. There are so many reasons. The main reason I think is uh, private school is owned by privately. So, and public school is owned by government. So privately managed schools are well supervised, well monitored, and teachers are given chances to take part in many training programs, refreshment programs. They take part in teaching method, how to teach well to the students. They take part in enhancing quality of teaching. But in comparison to public school, supervision and monitoring system is not much good. And teachers, once appointed, they are very rarely be able to take part in trainings and other educational programs. Teachers in public schools are appointed in various ways. There are at least 5 kinds of teachers. One, the teachers who work as permanent basis. Second, teachers of temporary basis. Third, relief teachers. Fourth, part-time teachers. Fifth, ECD, early child development teachers. So permanent teachers are recruited by Teachers Commission. who take examination and select the best ones. Temporary teachers are selected by a school management committee. And same relief teachers also appointed by school management committee, and part-time teacher as well as ECD teacher, early child development teachers, also appointed by school management committee. But the teachers of those four kinds do not have permanent basis of their jobs. Only the permanent teachers can get their permanent appointment letter. Compare between the urban life and rural life in Nepal, you find totally difference. And this is the characteristics of developing country. There is dual economy, urban economy, rural economy, urban society, rural society. So basically you find urban people to send their children in private schools mainly, but in rural parts you find people sending their children in public schools. There are few reasons. In rural parts there have not been much private schools open yet, and in urban schools there are lots of urban areas, lots of private schools have been opened, and parents believe that private schools can care their children, can teach them English well. It is difference. And if you a week before there was a result of SLC examination, school living certificate, it means private schools got about 89% their students passed, but in the same result public schools got only 47%. So it is about double. I find if in the urban areas it is common in Nepal. We find private schools in in short distances open. Some schools are up to primary levels, others lower secondary or secondary levels. Even some started higher secondary levels. I also think this because government teachers are paid more salary. So, but if we compare their students, mostly in public schools, students from poor economic background come to study. So even you don't find them carrying their bags, their uniforms. We don't find their parents can't buy. Their parents usually are the workers. So what happens is there is class gap. In my opinion, there is class gap. Teachers become high classes and students are from low classes. So the class gap also plays a role, I think, in giving education properly to the students. Yeah, certainly it's difficult because one more reason for this is Nepali society is highly politicized. There are many political parties in the field. So if the teachers are if the teachers are needed for a school, so there must be a kind of political consciousness first. Then we can have a compromise and we can select a teacher. Otherwise, if a teacher is selected and some groups may come out and say we don't agree the decision, and they start protesting against the decision. It is because one important reason I think is school management committee that is locally formed is responsible to decide for temporary based, relief based and ECD based teachers and part-time based teachers. First they have to discuss about the requirement of a school. If they firstly get consensus, then it will not get problem. So transparency and issue-wise discussion is, I think, the important for recruitment of the teachers. Government is trying. Um, if you see, there are so many policies and programs have brought by government, such as provisions of scholarship and uh, enhancement to girls enrollment, number of girls enrollment, and free education. You don't have to pay up to 10th grade. I mean, it is free education up to 10th grade. Textbooks are provided by government. So there are many provisions. But despite the provisions are there, students we find in public school decreasing in number recently. However, few public schools have done well and they have good number of students. TPD, Teachers Professional Development Training, also government starts. So recently there are some programs, as I remember now. No, if there is unemployment problem in Nepal, I think if a person has option to teach either in private school or public school, he will definitely run for public school, because salary, one can get salary more there, and there is easy job in public school. There is not much tight administration. But in private school, it is privately managed, you know. So the owner of the school is an individual. That's why every day he supervises, every day he observes his teachers' classes. If teachers are not doing well, he can say them goodbye from the job. That's why it is a tight and a well management. But in public school, you can't terminate teachers from the job. Yeah, I think it is very important to conduct research on education system in Nepal because there are so many social causes, economic factors, urban-rural differences, gender differences, caste ethnic differences, even linguistic differences. So it is a rich platform for the researchers if they want to have research in Nepal in education. They can have lots of options, lots of chances, and they can explore the new things. They can explore the new visions, new knowledge. You know, research is the source of knowledge. So researchers can provide new knowledge. That's why Nepal is a rich place for researchers, abroad researchers, and even national researchers. So I earlier told you that Nepali society has been politicized up to the grassroots level, you know. So everyone might be a cadre of a political party. However, there are some independent people, educationists, educators, many intellectuals are even independent we can find. But political cadres are more powerful to raising their voice in place of educationists. That's why sometimes I don't say always, sometimes it disturbs to continue classes in this course. First of all, thank you to all. You have done a good job and big job for your study. It is a really very appreciating issue. You have come Nepal and even come to rural part, urban areas, and doing well for your project. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.